Guys, we have executive session as well.
You are now live.
Thank you, Dwayne. It's 9 a.m. Welcome to our August 5th board meeting. Appreciate each one of you being here. As always, we ask that you take a second and turn your phone on silent. Will be well appreciated. We'll open up in a word of prayer. We'll ask Mr. Dan Hart, which serves on our CMPDD board for Madison County. We'll ask him to say the prayer, and we'll say the pledge. So if you would, please stand. Mr. Hart, come up to the podium if you would.
Gracious Father, we thank you for bringing us together this morning. We ask that you bless each and every one of us in your way. Help us to solve the problems that exist here in Madison County and do it in a godly manner. These are the other blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Will?
Yes, sir. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Lott,
Yes, Mr.
I think
President.
you're up first.
You should have before you the July the 15th as well as the July 30th board minutes. I would ask that there are no changes. The board please approve said minutes.
Are there any changes the board would like to make? If not, do I have a motion? Motion Supervisor Griffin. Do I have a second? Second Supervisor Banks. Discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Before we get to concerned citizens, I would like to ask Sheriff Tucker to come up and give us a update on our $2.7 million on our investigation. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. I think as everyone is aware of the fraud that took place back earlier this year, we suffered a $2.7 million fraud case. Going back, I think you'll remember that the last time I gave an update, we had recovered about $898,000 of that amount. Today, I'm happy to report that we've recovered an additional amount that would bring us to about $1,411,599. So
Okay.
some additional $500,000 has been recovered since the last update. Suspects have been identified and arrests are pending. The investigation is ongoing and will be. I think we'll be able to wrap that up. I can't give a definitive date, but if I had to guess, somewhere in the next 3 months or so, would be able to bring a conclusion to that. Certainly, I think it's going to be an extended time frame beyond that before any additional money recovery is that for the legal means of recovery are expended. So I do expect additional amounts. I don't want to give those amounts until it hits the bank account, though.
Right.
I'm excited about those possibilities, but until it's actually in our account, I've learned a lesson that we're not going to discuss that. So we're at about $1,411,599 in recovery with the anticipation of getting some more. We did have an insurance payment of about another $100,000 that came through that puts us over $1.5 million. And we do have I'll just bring this to your attention, we do have the additional $90,000 plus the $30,000 that are in the process of those legal remedies, civil asset forfeitures, that'll get us over the $1.6 million. So hopefully there will be additional amounts recovered, but again, until those remedies are exhausted, I don't want to give a final say-so. But it is progressing nicely. I want to thank the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Attorney General's Office, and the Secret Service. They've been phenomenal. Those investigators have gone above and beyond. So that's where we are, and I'll leave it at that right now. But I'll give you an update as we move along further.
Okay. Thank you, Sheriff, for the update.
You're welcome.
Good news, we're a little bit over 55 or 60% collection, counting our insurance money as well. So thank you for the update.
Yes, sir.
Moving down to concerned citizens, we have a couple on the agenda. Ms. Sherry Deddens, please come up and state your name, give your address, and 2 minutes, please.
My name is Cherry Deddens. I live at 220 Persimmon Lane on Highway 22. Been out there for 30 years. I think I was one of the first to come. I have a statement here and some questions. I was the first female city alderman elected to my hometown board. My father was the Honorable Kirby B. Thompson. He served in the Mississippi State Legislature. So I know what goes on. I know how to run a business, and I know how to run the city. But I think we're missing something here. Our concerns on the Shell station at Stokes Road and Livingston Vernon are safety concerns. It's a dangerous intersection. The proposed site is already known for its hazardous conditions. We had one teenage fatality. Adding a service station and retail store will worsen traffic dangers, jeopardizing the safety of pedestrians and drivers, especially on Sunday with the Damascus Church. The impact on historical value. Priority to this historical town, this development is close to a significant historical area. The commercial nature of this development could distract from the historical charm and reduce property values. I know that because I'm also a real estate broker. The project will likely lead to higher taxes to support infrastructure improvements for the Shell station. Local taxpayers will be footing the bill to accommodate a large corporation rather than benefit the community. Overcrowding and traffic issues. We can expect significant overcrowding and traffic jams as a result of this new development, especially on Sundays. We question why this intersection is prioritized over other roads in more critical need of repair, like Calhoun Parkway, Macmillan Road. Those are two of the main arteries that we have that get us from 22 to Gluckstadt Road. I also want to ask for some transparency. We want access to two documents. One is we would like the data confirming that the land is designated for commercial use. We would like to see the rezoning documentation for this area and see proof that the Bridges family requested rezoning, because the Board of Supervisors cannot arbitrarily zone property. We also want to know about the overcrowding of schools because the board has elected to build 600 apartments north of Gluckstadt, and now we're facing another bond issue for our taxes to go higher. We urge the Madison Board of Supervisors to reconsider this proposal and address our concerns thoroughly. It is vital to engage with the community to find solutions to align with our needs and values. Thank you for your attention and support today. Let me know when I can speak with someone to get answers to these questions. Let's continue to work together to protect our community and advocate for responsible development. Before I go, I have brought each of you a gift, a book of the United States Constitution that was given to our children in schools in 1930. It is out of print, but I have enough copies for the Board of Supervisors. I also want to read you one passage in this little book that means more to me than anything.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
I'm wrapping it up.
Okay.
Just hold on. Okay, here's what I want to read to you. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their power from the consent of the governed. Just a minute. I also have a list for all of y'all of all the subdivisions in our area that were part of the objection. And your book,
On the agenda.
there is your list.
Thank you.
This list represents hundreds of people. I can use it.
Thank you, ma'am.
There's your book.
Thank you, ma'am.
Find these anymore, so hold on to them.
I sure appreciate it.
You want one, Sheriff?
Greg, while she is handing that out, there's a couple statements she made about getting information.
I like my book.
If you would, work with Scott
Thank you.
and the planning and zoning attorney to see, to make sure she gets the information she asked for.
Absolutely.
Okay? And also just, I think for the apartments that she made note of, those are actually in the city of Canton, not in the county, so.
That'd be great.
All right, thank you, Sherry.
Yes, thank you.
Next, we have on the agenda list, Mr. Cleveland.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. Yes, my name is Mr. Cleveland. I live at 126 Martinique Drive in Lake Caroline. I'm here to ask the board to allow me to submit a grant for an EV charging station that would cost the county $0. It's $0 cost. You have a list of the grant that's before you. That's what I'm asking for, a motion to allow Universal Solar through the county to submit a grant for EV charging stations.
Okay, I think the last time you was in front of us about a month ago.
Yes.
Or so, there was a grant with 20% matching that you was asking the county for.
Yes.
But what I understand now, you have a sponsor
Yes.
that's gonna pay that 20% or whatever the match is.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Questions for Mr. Cleveland?
Were you aware of this grant?
I looked at it the first time it was presented to the board very briefly. I have not gotten all the way into kind of the weeds of it.
Is that a grant that the county would fill out, or is that a grant that you would fill out?
It's a grant that my grant writer can fill it out, but you have to submit it. I can't submit it as my company. I have to partner with a municipality.
Okay. And the charging station, I understand one of them was gonna be at Lost Rabbit,
That's correct.
and where were the other one?
Right up here on Highway off 55, those hotels you make, those 3 rows of hotels
In the city of Canton.
in the city of Canton.
Okay. Questions from the board?
I think it's what, Mr. Bank, yours, and Casey's area.
What do y'all say?
And they're across the county, you know. That's my
Yeah, my big objection last meeting
that you spoke was that I didn't think taxpayer dollars should subsidize this. It doesn't
right.
look like any taxpayer dollars are subsidizing this.
Right.
So I really have no objections, unless anybody from Lost Rabbit is here saying that they don't want this in their area. Yeah, I can't see why they,
Is that a motion, or are you gonna make a motion, or you just,
I'm just saying I have no objections.
Well, I'll go ahead and make the motion with county assuming no liability or responsibility for the payments of that. You haven't looked at this, have you?
No, no. If the county is the applicant,
Yeah.
sometimes it's beyond money. Sometimes it's liability, responsibility, civil rights considerations, workers' comp, ADA, all of that. If it's a federal grant, then you have to assume liabilities required by federal government.
we would definitely,
I haven't seen it, so.
What is the deadline for
The submission deadline is August the 28th. We just basically asking for a motion to work with, of course, you're right, it's a federal grant, so you have type of regulations with anything federal.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we just asking to work with the grant writer and work with you guys to move forward on it. If you decide you see something you don't like, of course, Universal Solar just disregard it. But August the 28th is the submission date. We just need basically permission to move forward on the grant, because we have to get more information for the grant writer, because my grant writer can work with your grant writer for the county and make sure everything is in according to what you guys are comfortable with. But we can't move forward with that until we get the motion.
Well, I think the motion that I'd like to make would be to go ahead and move forward to try to establish the grant after the attorney has made sure that that's, we don't have financial liability. We definitely don't want to pick up any other legal liabilities. So that's my motion.
have a motion on the table, do we have a second?
Yeah, I second it with a couple recommendation. Anytime, sir, when you're gonna bring something before this board, it'll be good that you work through the supervisor. You say you live in Caroline?
Yes, sir.
Work through your supervisor, Carl Bank, or Trey, or our lawyer, so they can be educated on the item when it come before us.
Yes, sir.
That's anything that you have coming forward in the future.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, and we have a motion, have a second, and I want to make sure I understand the motion. Ronnie, do you have that motion?
Well, several ways. I believe it's to establish a grant after the board attorney determines legality for EV charging station grant. Is that?
Yeah, that would be it. Well, we understand it's legal. I'm talking about the liabilities that we may face. As a county.
Liabilities?
Yeah, liability, county liability. We don't want to assume any liability that we should have to assume.
Liabilities involved establishing grant after the board attorney determines liabilities. Involvement for the electric charging station grant.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. Interesting liability. You already said we don't have any cash responsibility. That's what we understand. We make sure we don't have any liabilities.
Is that a correct motion?
In general.
Yeah.
Mr. Cleveland, you said that I think this grant has to be turned in on the 28th.
Yes, sir.
And the only concern that I have from what I'm hearing you is our attorney hasn't reviewed this. And that's the concern that I have, with this motion at this point. If brought back at the next board meeting, which is on the 19th, would that be too late to get that grant in? To give the attorney time to look and explore?
Well, what I would say to that, and I could say it verbally and you could put it on record, if the attorney finds that you guys are uncomfortable with anything, you don't have to submit it. I'm saying that verbally and on the record.
That's right. It would have to come back to the board for approval to submit it.
Yes.
You're correct there. And,
Yes.
And so, Mike, you know, just,
amend that motion, say board attorney approval, just instead of.
well, it'd have to come back to the board anyway.
It's gonna come back to us.
August the 19th, it could come back to you.
It's gonna come back to
However
us.
you want to form the main thing is that the attorney has to make sure that we don't have any liability.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's cleared up then, so. All right, any other discussion, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Cleveland.
Thank you all for your time and patience.
Greg, any other concerned citizen?
One more, Mr. President, Regina Edwards.
Okay, Ms. Edwards? Please come, state your name and give your address, please.
I'm getting familiar with
Yeah.
it.
Got a couple of minutes.
Regina Edwards, 639 South Deerfield Drive, Canton, 39046. I'm here this morning just for two little things and one big thing. First of all, I don't know if you guys are aware that Tim Bryan came to our neighborhood and met with us on July 9th and went over a lot of problems we're having with our ditches and culverts, and I want to publicly thank him for his time. It was after 5 o'clock, and he was inundated with several neighbors, several complaints, and several pictures. But I just want to thank him. And I want to ask for a copy. I'm trying to find this in our covenants, and I couldn't find it. So I'm asking, is there an ordinance that's been passed that states ungated HOAs are responsible for the lighting that is on the county right-of-way? If there is, can I get a copy of this? And then third, you know, there's been a rumor running around the whole county that there's going to be an apartment complex built somewhere off of Yandell Road or Clarkdale Road. We know that it's just a rumor, but if someone comes in tomorrow and wants to rezone for an apartment complex, would you guys approve it? Or can you answer that today?
No, we can't answer that. It'll have to go through the process of rezoning where the signs be put up and everybody out there will have the opportunity to come to the zoning meeting and to the board of supervisors meeting.
Right, I understand the rezoning process. I'm just hoping that you guys all understand that no one in the Clarkdale Road District, Yandell Road District, Old Canton Road, or we call ourselves the corridor out there, none of us want an apartment complex. I just wanted to give you all a heads up on that. And finally, I do want to let you know I appreciate a lot of the road work that's been going on in the county and in our area. We've had some roads repaired, some repaved. We're doing fairly good, except for a couple in Deerfield, but I'm not here for those this morning. I'm here to talk about the expansion of Yandell Road from Old Canton Road to Highway 43 to a 5-lane road. I cannot visualize that at all unless you're putting these lanes in our backyards. And I'm just here to ask you, as the budgeting and the approval process goes, if this goes forward, will you guys please budget in a protective barrier wall, a sound wall, something to protect our backyards? Because in the 27 years I've lived in Deerfield, I've seen three wrecks. I was in my backyard twice when a car left Yandell Road and ended up in my neighbor's backyard, and two in my other neighbor's backyard. One young lady, this was when Toby Tobridge was our sheriff, that's how long ago that's been, she had to be taken by ambulance. And if we're going to a 5-lane, I think we're going to increase the chances of car wrecks, automobile accidents being in people's backyard. We had one Easter weekend, and I brought you guys the pictures, but I only have one set, so you may just want to pass them around this way to show you just how bad this wreck was. It tore down 2 fences, almost ended up on the guy's porch, almost in his back door. And so we're just asking for your help and consideration for a protective, I want that word protective, and sound barrier, because the sounds now that we have, just for 2 lanes, almost every home on Yandell Road, people have left their,
Let's wrap
I
it
know,
up,
I am.
please.
Left their bedrooms on the back to move to the front because the noise is so intense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Also, Greg, she mentioned something about the lights, as far as being on the county right-of-way, who's responsible for those. If you would, take her name and number, please, and just follow her up and just see exactly where the lights are located, and if we can, ask, try to find out who's responsible for.
Thank you.
And also, just for my benefit, I have not heard of any apartment complexes to be built. I haven't. Yeah. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that rumor going around with a lot of people sending out false information, and that's
Yes.
one of them, is what I understand. So, all right, other concerned citizens? Greg?
No,
Any
sir.
other?
No, sir,
Okay.
no others.
If not, tax assessor, Mr. Kennedy, we have a public hearing. I'd like a motion to go into public hearing, please.
Motion to go to public
Got a
hearing.
motion by Supervisor Griffin, second Supervisor Banks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're in public hearing. Mr. Kennedy,
Yes, sir. Good morning.
good morning.
The county has advertised, given proper notice to, excuse me, the taxpayers and the public for filing objections to the 2024 tax roll. And I believe I've confirmed with the Chancery Clerk's office that there have been no objections filed. 9:00 a.m. was the deadline this morning. So at this time, we need to close the public hearing and have a motion to set August 19th as the date to finalize everything pertaining to the 2024 rolls for equalization purposes.
Before we close the public hearing, are there anyone out that would like to speak in favor or oppose to this? Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move.
Motion by Mr. Banks, to have a second? I'll second it. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? I have the motion that you given. It says, in accordance with Mississippi Code 273589 and 273593, motion to acknowledge that no filed objections were received for the real and personal property tax rolls for 2024, and set Monday, August 19th, 2024 at 9 a.m. as the date for any possible equalization charges for the final approval of said rolls. That comes in form of a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Supervisor Banks. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Thank you.
Jenna, do you have this? Okay. I'm passing that down. Thank you, Supervisor Brandon. Consent items. Anyone like to move any item from the consent? If not, do I have a motion for approval? I'll make a motion for approval. Second by Supervisor Griffin. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Item 49 with our business items, Ms. Angela White. Bottrell, come on up to the mic and make sure it's on, because we want to make sure we hear your voice there now.
Sir. Yeah. Good morning. I'm Angela White with Fisher Brown Bottrell Insurance. Good morning, Supervisors. Thanks for having me today. I am here to discuss the medical and ancillary coverages renewals for your information, and I think that y'all received some information the past couple of days about our renewals on our medical insurance. We are receiving an increase on that. We have been working with the UMR, which is our administrative services provider, and also our reinsurance carrier, to try and mitigate some of those increase in costs. And so we have marketed all of this in the marketplace. We did go to Blue Cross on the UMR piece of it, which would be the admin costs, and unfortunately, Blue Cross came back with about a 57% increase. So that was not an option. We felt like. So a lot of that, and y'all may not realize this, but our claims have increased this year. We've made some plan adjustments this year, and in addition to that, our population has increased by 12%, which is good. We want our population to increase, but that has caused some additional cost. We did send out the reinsurance to all of the available A-plus carriers in the marketplace, and we did not get any competitive quotes back. Most declined or just responded with uncompetitive with our current and renewal rates. On a positive note, we did make some changes last year, or actually at the beginning of this year in January, to our pharmacy plan with Optum, and we are now starting to see those changes come to fruition. We're going to see, hopefully, and this is a very conservative actuarial assessment, but we are looking at about $460,000 in rebates we'll be receiving over the course of the year. So that's going to help offset some of our increase in our medical cost. In addition to that, I met with the county administrator, went through all of the different scenarios and options that we had on the table, and our recommendation was to increase the spec deductible to $150,000 versus $100,000, and that's going to lower some of our fixed costs and help offset some of that increase as well. And so we met with him, discussed that, and then our overall position is going to be good based on these scenarios, and we are asking that you will accept this change to our reinsurance to move to the $150 deductible. And I believe in the agenda it said Reunion. They're the managing general underwriter, but Sirius is the actual, we call it paper, that it will be on, that you'll be signing for the renewal. Any questions on any of that?
Are there any questions? Greg, do you have any? You good to go?
Well, no, sir. I believe they've put in the time and shopped it out to everybody that they could think to shop it out to, and we've gone with the option that saves the county the most money.
Okay. Question from the board? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion that we approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Banks. Do I have a second? I'll second it.
Thank you.
Discussion?
That included changing the.
From 100 to 150? Yes.
And I did have a couple of other items. Our Guardian renewal, I did not know if you are aware of that, but they're renewing for 2 years with no increase. So we're excited about that on those coverages. And then we also marketed the COBRA and FMLA administration, and we're able to get about a 16% decrease in the COBRA administration. So, and then roll out the FMLA. So we were excited about that and wanted to get permission for the county administrator to sign off on that contract for the COBRA and FMLA administration.
Okay, we have a motion on the table at this point. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Do we need a motion on that second?
I would think so. Yes, sir. I would recommend one just to be safe.
Okay,
Motion
go over
on
that
that.
second part that we need.
The
to-
COBRA and FMLA, okay.
That you need a motion on.
We would like approval to have the COBRA and FMLA move to task and for the county administrator to sign off on the contract.
Got a motion, Supervisor Banks. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Okay, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Ms. Johnson, glad to see you here today. Yeah, I understand. All right, moving on, Mr. McGraw. Item 50.
Thank you. I'm Don McGraw, and I'm here representing E&M Entertainment, who owns the Rabbit Hole down at Lost Rabbit. We were here about 4 or 5 months ago obtaining resort status for the Rabbit Hole. We're back today seeking a leisure and recreation district designation. With that designation, the patrons are authorized to take a paper or styrofoam cup out of the business, sit on the porch, on the dock there by it, and drink outside the indoor premises. So.
Don, tell us about the process you went through to get where we are today. What all did you have to do to?
Okay, so to get the resort status, we had to, of course, come by the board, then we had to go by the legislature. They approved it. And so pursuant to the statute, we filed this petition for the Leisure and Recreation District.
Mm-hmm.
And that's,
All right. When are y'all gonna get open?
we've got an opening coming up here in the gym making that.
Next Wednesday.
All right. All right, well, thank you. What do you need from us today?
We drafted a resolution, and we gave Greg a copy of the resolution. We just need the resolution approved.
I make a motion to,
Attached to the agenda.
I make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, got a motion Supervisor Brandon, second Supervisor Baxter to approve the Leisure and Recreation District. So, any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
All right, next, we have Mr. Varner.
Just in time.
I got it, Greg. Hey, thank you. Our bids are due at 10 o'clock, so we're going to collect the bids, and then after 10 o'clock, we'll print them all out and come to you to read the bids off.
That sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Drew? Item 52.
Morning, Board.
Good morning.
I have two items for Buildings and Grounds. The first is requesting authorization to advertise for bids for the Madison County Annex Interior Improvements Project. And the second is to acknowledge the cost estimate from J&H Architects for that project.
Okay, item 52, I'll make a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Second for Supervisor Banks. Discussion?
Can you define for me what exactly the Madison County Annex is? That's
Yes, sir. That is the tax building in Madison at
the one
171.
right on 51, right
Yes,
across
sir.
from Mama Hamil's, okay.
At Cobblestone.
Yeah.
Do we have a cost estimate on this?
Yes, sir. It should be attached. I have a copy here.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 53.
Yes, sir. 52 is the cost estimate.
With all them done in one, in that motion?
No, I'll make the second, I'll make a motion for approval,
Second.
to acknowledge. Got a second, Supervisor Griffin. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Tim?
Got two items for you. Both are the same. These are the MOUs for the two projects we were awarded through the MPO. These are the take it or leave it MOUs with MDOT that outlines, what MDOT's going to do. Basically says, hey, MDOT's going to give you this amount of money, and anything over and above that is yours. So we can take these one at a time. The first one is for Weisenberger Road. It's the MOU for Weisenberger Road. Ask that you approve that MOU.
Do I have a motion? Motion Supervisor Banks. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second Supervisor Baxter. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Next one's the same thing for the Yandell Road Signal Installation Project.
All right, do I have a motion?
I offer a motion, and can you?
I've got a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second Supervisor Banks. Discussion?
Can you describe this here project for the people that might be looking at this online real briefly?
All right. This is going to take the intersection of Yandell and North Old Canton. It's going to do some geometric improvements, which means it's going to add some turn lanes, and we'll also be adding a traffic signal there.
All right. Thank you.
All right, other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you, Tim.
All right, thanks.
Tim, also, you may not have that update yet, but the bridge there on Yandell, is it open?
Not quite yet.
Oh, you shouldn't have asked that.
It was supposed to have been open today. The guardrail contractor is there right now, putting the guardrail in. It's supposed to be through tomorrow.
Okay.
So it should be open Wednesday.
Good. And the,
I hope.
so it should be open this week anyway.
Yes.
If everything goes as planned. And also the signal light, or the work that's done at Highway 51 and
Green Oak.
Green Oak. And I know that's a MDOT project.
It is a cooperation between us and MDOT, but
Right.
MDOT is handling the construction inspection on that for us.
And I think that's probably
that we've
50
got
or 60-day project.
It's got at least another 2 months on it before it'll be open.
Okay. And when it does open, the signal light should be installed and
Yes.
working?
Correct.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Tim. Mr. Weeks?
Mr. President, Board, good morning.
Morning.
First item I have is the planning and zoning draft minutes from July 15th, 2024.
All right, do I have a motion to acknowledge those planning and zoning minutes?
Oh, I move.
Motion, Mr. Banks, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Supervisor Baxter. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Next item is Tania Battle. So mobile home in a residential district. This is a medical hardship, 109 Vaughn Street, Supervisor District 4.
All right. Got a motion for approval by Supervisor Banks. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Discussion. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 58.
Tanya Daniels is the permit refund where they did not require the work to be done.
All right, got a motion, Supervisor Banks. Do I have a second? I'll second. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Item 59.
David Lingle, permit refund. House plans changed. It's going to be a permit refund on that one also.
Got a motion, Supervisor Banks. I'll second. Discussion. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All opposed?
60 PV Freeney and Walker, rezoning C2 to A1, Rattler Ferry Road, Natchez Trace Parkway. Supervisor District 5, approved by P&Z on 7/15/2024.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Got a motion, Supervisor Griffin. Do I have a second? Second, Supervisor Banks. Discussion.
I just have a quick question. C2 is commercial too?
Highway commercial.
Highway commercial.
Correct.
And they're reserving it to agricultural?
Agricultural to develop, large acreage lots. That C2 zoning was done decades ago.
Okay.
And it's never developed anything commercial at that area.
Other questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 61.
Joe B. Hardy and Minnie Evans Hardy, rezoning A1 to I2, Old Yazoo City Road and Verlilia Road, Supervisor District 4, approved by P&Z on 7/15/2024.
Do I have a motion?
How many acres is there?
I don't have that information written down. Mr. Hardy is here. I think it's a couple of hundred, 200, roughly about 200.
I move.
Got a motion, Supervisor Banks. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. 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 All opposed?
Rita Graham, this is a rezoning A1 to I2, Old Yazoo City Road and Verlilia Road, Supervisor District 4, approved by P&Z 7/15/2024.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move on that.
Motion, Supervisor Banks. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Supervisor Baxter. Discussion. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 63.
Preliminary plat, Glendale Farms 3, Yandle Road, Supervisor District, I did not write that down. I think it's 5. I think it's 5. The covenants are included on that. This was at the last board meeting. Mr. Steen requested the covenant to be brought. And it has a 1,600 square foot minimum on 1-2, and their supplement showed 3. I went through the records of what was constructed in 1A, and they average out to about 1,913 square feet. And 1B averages out to 1,848 square feet. Mr. Graw is here to represent Mr. Jordan, if you have any questions for him.
So actually, the plat phase 1 and 2 has been approved for 1,600 square feet. But they
Correct.
actually been building 1,900 and up.
And upwards of that, I have all the documents. They're up to like 2,200 in some of it. So they range from about, basically in the first phase, 1,800 to 21, 22. And in the second phase, I think the smallest house I saw built was about 1,756, going up to about 1,950, I believe.
How many houses are in this proposed development? I counted briefly, but it's kind of hard to see on that map. It's about 70, give or take.
I think that's about correct. I didn't do a count on them.
You say the developer is here?
69.
Don, you can come up. I'm sorry.
Oh, Don
Casey.
represents?
Yes.
Casey, you finished?
He corrected me. I guessed it about 70, and he said
You were
69.
right on it.
All right.
I think Scott was saying in the covenant, you got a minimum of 1,600 square feet.
Yeah, that was in the original covenants. Then we did a supplement that we sent over to Scott for the phase 3 that had the same 1,600. But I understand we probably need to bump it to 1,800, which I am here today to say that we will put that in our supplement.
All right, that would be my motion upon approval of that. Move it up to 1,800 square feet. Offer motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion on the table and a second to approve to start at 1,800 square feet and up. And Scott, do you recall, or Don, do you recall what is the majority of them in there are 1,900, 2,000, or does he have some 2,400, 2,500?
I don't recall any being larger than 22 or so.
Yeah, it's
22 or so. Okay.
22, and then the smaller ones are down in the low, like 17, 2.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Close to 17, 1,800.
17, 20 or so.
Other discussion?
You know, we already know that I was looking at the map late last night, and it looks like all this dumps out onto Yandell.
Right.
Right now from the school. You know, we already know that there's a traffic problem on Yandell Road. Pretty bad. Everybody I know that even remotely lives out there complains about it. You know, we know that we're already doing some intersection stuff and some 3-lane to make ingress to the school, okay? But I don't think that, I mean, do we have information that says, or has it been, when this phase was done, was there any kind of study done to say that Yandell Road can actually handle this extra traffic? I mean, 2-car homes times 69, that's basically an extra 140 cars coming in and out onto that intersection right there by that school. Has anything been looked at to say that our current infrastructure can handle that? I mean, I really don't think it's fair to burden the people that live out there with even more traffic.
I don't have anything in my file showing it. They may have had a traffic study, but I'm not aware of it.
That's all I'm saying is, you know, it's our job to develop the county, but it's also our job to make sure that we don't overburden our current infrastructure. I'd like to make a substitute motion that we table this to allow some time to review the information available to the county to determine if the current infrastructure can handle the additional lots.
Okay, we have a motion on the table for a substitute motion to table it. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Supervisor Baxter. Discussion?
Yeah, you know, we done got our county back to a stage where we are approving subdivision every meeting or every other meeting. We was once there before, and COVID came in and stopped it. And what I'm trying to say is we got growth coming to Madison County. If we wait to put the infrastructure in, that growth gonna stop and go somewhere else. It ain't guaranteed you're gonna get that growth coming back into the county. We got plans to improve the infrastructure. Green Oak, it is being improved to get you all the way to the interstate. Looking at Yandell to not just put a 3-lane turning lane at the school, but even possibility of 5-lane. So we as a board is moving forward. And just cause we're approving this, 70 houses now, it ain't like it's gonna be 70 houses there 6 months from now. it's gonna take time to build these houses, and the roads are moving along as fast as humanly possible. So this ain't the time to stop the growth. That's what I'm saying.
Other questions?
I've already said my piece and
Okay.
my motion.
We do have a substitute motion. Tim, is Tim still in the room? Tim, I think I saw Stan as well. Do you have an update on the third lane that is being put in now on Yandle Road?
We are finishing up buying right away and should be moving utilities soon. So that project should be happening within a year. Yep.
Within a year as far as the start of the construction?
Right.
And then you're looking at construction in what, another year?
About a year.
Okay, so you're looking at a couple of years.
Till
to
it's
have it
complete.
finished. Yeah,
Right.
to have it
So,
complete.
and this is a preliminary plat. This is the first thing. What is the time frame of when these houses are gonna be move-in ready? I'm
I
asking
think
so-
he's probably asking Don for that.
The formal plat probably won't be filed till after the first of the year, and then you're probably talking about 10 months or later before.
Okay.
Start clearing of the,
Yeah, you still got a
clearing
little
of the
bit to
property
build the
first.
road.
Right, gotta get roads built in there and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
You're probably looking at 2 years.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, just roughly. Okay. Other questions? We do have a substitute motion on the table to table it at this point, so I'll take that up first. So all in favor to table it, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No.
Griffin, what was yours?
No.
What was that vote, Ronnie?
2 to 3, failed.
Okay. And then we go back to the original motion to accept the plat with the 1,800 square feet and above. And I do know that there's some no rental clauses in there as well. You know, so I did see that in there, which is a good thing as well, in the HOA covenants, that is. So, all right, other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Mr. Espy?
I did it.
oh, you did already go. Never mind then.
That paper go.
Good morning, Board.
Morning.
I've got 3 items before you. So, excuse me, item 64, I represent the Madison County Employee Handbook Committee, led ably by our HR Director. And we've reviewed the Madison County Handbook, and we believe that it should be updated, and the updates are before you. And I gave each one of you a copy. So there are 5 updates. I don't need to go through all of them, but the titles are Section 2.1 relates to response to inappropriate conduct. Section 2.5 relates to updates in the cybersecurity policy related to prohibitions about protection of information by our employees. The 2.8 relates to outside employment. And I'll just stop here just to note one thing, is that this county does not prohibit its employees from seeking outside employment, but the county insists that that employment be subsidiary. In essence, that your job as an employee of Madison County is primary. And there shouldn't be any excuses for excessive tardiness or absenteeism or conflicts of interest that would subject you to penalties of some sort. But working here is your top priority. So in that vein, we believe that it was necessary just to suggest, and hopefully this board will vote to update the employee handbook to require every county employee to at least promptly disclose that he or she has outside employment to their immediate supervisor or elected official, and that the failure to do so may result in disciplinary action. So that is a recommendation by your handbook committee. Section 4, employee benefits, and Section 5, intranet use. So these are written out, they're pretty specific, and your handbook committee recommends, with the oversight of the county administrator who's seen these, that you approve these recommendations.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Banks to accept. Do I have a second? I'll second it for a little further discussion, Mike. And I was just looking at section 2.8. Doesn't mean to reconsider a change. But it says that, talking about clarifies that employees must promptly disclose outside employment to their immediate supervisor, as you indicated, or elected official. And then, of course, says failure to do so could be in disciplinary action. And I'm just throwing this out just for thoughts. As far as department heads only, that if they do have a second job, I think they should let the immediate supervisor know and the elected official, not or, but and. And that is just for the department heads only.
Okay.
And I just want to open that up for discussion from the board.
Department head, they, somebody they will have to notify would be the board supervisor or elected official. So.
Well, a lot of them maybe work through Greg is what I'm really getting at. And so he would be notified, but also my thinking was that the Board of Supervisors be notified as well. And this is just open for discussion. Yeah. Greg?
The intent behind the policy, and we did look specifically at department.
If you would, get a little closer to the mic.
Yes, sir, and we did look specifically at department heads, was for them to notify me, and then if necessary, or if I thought it was necessary, I would gladly notify the board, or if the board wanted notification, we can certainly include that in the policy, but the idea was for them to just tell me.
Yeah. Okay.
I really don't care whether to know about someone working a second job, as long as Greg knowing about it. That's my thought on it.
Okay. Other discussion? If not, we have a motion on the table. We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay.
Okay, the next, excuse me, relates to Comcast. The board recalls that at the last meeting, we had a presentation by Comcast officials, and they updated the board relating to the Beam supplemental grant that we received. So after that meeting, we assembled next door. We met with the Comcast officials, the Comcast engineers, and our working committee, and we came with elements of a new contract, or at least an amendment or addendum to the contract that we've had with Comcast for the last 3 years, because it requires updating. So before you are the amendments to the agreement that are in force, and if you approve them, they take effect today. And I'll go over the highlights of this addendum. Number one, the money has not changed. The board realizes that the total cost for the broadband connection program is $17,320,870 to deploy high fiber, broadband fiber to areas of northeast Madison County. So of that $17.3 million, Comcast has committed to contribute the lion's share, which is $7,583,802 to fund the cost of the project. The county, through its ARPA dollars, committed to contribute $4,837,065. And we received from the state of Mississippi's Beam Capital Projects Fund the amount of almost $5 million, $4,900,000. So that is not going to change. I will just tell the board that if there are cost overruns or any financial oversights, or if the project ends up costing more than we thought, Comcast has agreed to pay the difference. So I don't expect this board to be called upon to contribute any more money to this project, even if there are cost overruns. So that's very important to know. The effective date starts today, August 5th, 2024, to connect 3,317 locations along 342 miles in northeast Madison County. We believe that the project will be completed by December 31st, 2025. So Comcast says that they will achieve final completion of this project by December 31st, 2025. Upon the first mile of connecting broadband to the communities, there'll be some sort of a ceremony, your first mile connection. And also our contribution will be due at that point, after the first mile. And at the last mile, Comcast expects that there'll be a grand ceremony with free laptops being given to all the students in the area. So that is really it. No more money from us, even if there are cost overruns, completion date, and that's it. So we updated this contract, and we recommend that you receive it and approve it.
Okay.
Call for that motion to approve.
Got a motion Supervisor Griffin, second Supervisor Banks, and Mike, I just want to make sure I understand. You said 3,300 homes connected. I've heard 33, 41, 39.
Yeah.
Yes, well, we went over that with the engineers.
Right.
At our meeting, and the engineers, there was some, and Mr. Griffin, you can speak to this, there was some confusion with the areas on the beam map that showed as not being connected.
Okay.
So this was adjusted.
Okay, so it is 3,300.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the completion date is December 25 for phase one.
December 31st, 2025, for connecting 3,317 locations, that's homes and businesses, along 342 miles in northeast Madison County.
Okay, good deal. We have a motion on the table, have a second.
Yeah,
Any
let
other?
me add this to it, Jerry. There was 4,100 homes, and I think Bing went back and took out some of those homes because they said that those homes had accessibility to a high-speed internet.
Already, yeah.
But hopefully Comcast gonna run by these people's houses anyway, and they have the option to get it. Those homes did opt out. I think Bing opt them out.
Okay. Okay, good deal. Thank you. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, all opposed.
All right, so that's a good segue into my third matter, which I'd like to discuss with you. And Mr. Griffin's gonna help me. So this county's been very fortunate in the last 3-4 years of receiving federal dollars. We've been extremely lucky, and we appreciate that. In this meeting today, we've talked about 2 items relevant to this conversation.
I would like to stop you from there. We hadn't been lucky. We've done a lot of planning. You know,
All right.
a little luck goes
We've been-
along, but we've
can I
done
say
a lot
blessed?
of good
We've
planning.
been prepared.
We've been
and we've been
prepared.
blessed.
You're right.
All right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right. So in this meeting, we talked about growth of this county. We've also been blessed to have great growth in this county. And it's also been noted that we also, in areas, have infrastructure issues. And that's the purpose of this conversation. We have found the reasonable expectation of receiving approval of a grant award if all the boxes are filled out in the amount of $20 million from the U.S. government EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. And we've been diligent in looking for monies. The purpose of this grant, if you approve the ability of a committee to apply for this money, is to hook into the EPA's desire for environmental resilience and sustainability due to climate change. That's a big topic there, and we want to hit the sweet spot. Also, they seem to have preference for lower income communities in these grants, and we're aware of that. So I've met with, in the Camden community, with Mr. Griffin 3 times. Mr. Griffin has been cooperating in developing the ideas for a response to this grant opportunity of $20 million. Because if you approve this, we have to partner with a nonprofit in the community. So Mr. Griffin made available the Northeast Madison County Community Development Council that I've met with about what this grant is very large and it's very stringent, and we honed it down to the areas we think we hit the sweet spot for quick approval by the federal government. So we call it Camden Goes Green. Camden Goes Green. And it's highlighted by 2 real elements. One is that there'll be built some sort of a storm shelter in that area to allow the residents opportunity to seek shelter during the inclement community. Right. But here's the big thing. Mr. Griffin believes, I can't speak for Mr. Griffin, but that this rural area of our county that's been so blessed with growth has not shared in that growth for many reasons. But one is that they don't have the sewer infrastructure that they need. In many cases, you leave that up to developers. But if you see federal money that's available to install conversion from septic to sewer, we should take advantage of it. So the main part of this grant of $20 million is to try to convince the reviewers of the application that this community should have 4 sewer lines built up by CMU coming from Canton going north, building infrastructure in this county to convert from septic to sewer. Now, that's the main element here. Now, it's important for you to know that the deadline is October 1st, and they review these on a rolling basis. So if we can quickly apply for this money, we'll know pretty quickly, yes or no, whether we're going to get it. Also, it's important for you to know that there is no matching at all. There is no cost share. It's 100% funded by the federal government if it's approved, if you hit all the elements of the application. So I'm here today, and I know Mr. Griffin's going to say what he wants to say, but here's an opportunity to have this county be the sponsor of a EPA grant for community resilience and climate change mitigation, where we're going to focus on building a storm shelter, but most importantly, asking them for $20 million to extend sewer lines from Canton up to Camden, converted from septic to sewer as part of the pollution mitigation strategies. That's a sweet spot for EPA. I will tell you that nothing is guaranteed, but I'm standing to here with you after having spoken with some officials at EPA, and we're encouraged to apply for this grant. It doesn't mean we're going to get it. It doesn't mean we're going to get $20 million, but we're going to know pretty quickly if we're going to get it.
Okay.
And I'm encouraged. So I'm asking for the recommendation that we begin the application process with Madison County as the sponsor.
I offer that as a motion.
Got a motion by Supervisor Griffin, second by Supervisor Banks. Who's going to fill out the application?
I will fill it out along with LaToya Thompson, who is an assistant in my office. Mr. Thompson found the grant. Ms. Thompson and I have spoken with some officials that'll monitor the applications, And she and I have both met with the nonprofit. And so I'd like to be tasked with this duty.
Is that part of this
Yeah,
motion?
that's
or-
my motion. I thought the attorney to, fill out, and apply for the grant.
Okay, is that your second?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do it all the time.
All right, we got,
My,
yeah, you do that all the time. That's the reason I'm trying to understand exactly what that motion is all the
Ronnie,
time.
you got what that motion is?
I believe so.
All right.
Okay. We do have a motion on the table and second, and basically to apply for EPA grant
With no match.
with no match.
No match.
With,
No liability.
with your office filling out the grant.
Yes.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed.
Thank you.
Be very good if we could get that 20 million,
It sure would.
no doubt. Okay, thank you, Mike. You're right.
Definitely. It'll
Greg?
grow just like you putting fertilizer on grass. All right.
Gotta
All right.
have it.
All right, Board, I actually have 4 things for you today. There's 3 listed there, and I'm hoping y'all will humor me with a 4th. It'll be very, very brief. Item 67 is requested this board acknowledge the beam letter. You may have just heard Supervisor Griffin and Mr. Espy mention the beam office and their role in expanding broadband accessibility. In fact, that's what the office is named after. So they have a map out that is purporting to be kind of where people go to challenge the ISP's applicability of service or availability of service, which means if you do not have internet or if your internet is spotty, please go out to the Beam website and let them know that the internet is spotty. That'll help us as we proceed down Phase 1 and into Phase 2 of our broadband projects.
Okay, do I have a motion to acknowledge the beam letter? Motion
Second.
Supervisor Banks, second Supervisor Griffin. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Item 68.
All right, item 68 is requested this board approve and authorize payment for a CMU bill from Fred's. There was a timing issue as far as getting it out of the contractor's name and into our name. This bill is ours. We should pay it.
Motion.
Got a motion Supervisor Griffin, second Supervisor Banks. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed.
All right, item 69 is a request that this board authorize the advertisement for the budget and tax levy hearings on September 3rd, 2024. That is a Tuesday because that Monday is Labor Day.
Okay, got a motion Supervisor Banks. I'll second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed.
All right, and then one last one that is not listed there. This is just kind of an announcement because I know quite a few employees are watching this. Open enrollment is August 13th. It is mandatory because of the handbook update, so please show up and sign the paperwork saying you've received the handbook and visit the insurance and other professionals that'll be around to help.
And it is time from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. that day
Yes, sir.
here in the boardroom.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
Thank
Son?
you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The first item is number 70, which is the approval of the budget amendments and the interfund cash transfer.
I'll make a motion. Second Supervisor Banks. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Item 71 through 75 is the general claims docket and 4 payroll dockets.
I'll make a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second Supervisor Banks. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed.
Number 76 is approval of the wedding report for the Justice Court.
Got a motion Supervisor Banks, second Supervisor Griffin. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Mr. Banks, would you take item 77, please?
Yes. Item 77.
And item 77 is approval of the folklore claim docket for August 2nd.
Right.
Motion to pay for the gas.
There a second?
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ronnie Lott, Chancery Clerk.
Ronnie.
Nothing, Mr. President.
Randy took our sheriff's coming up.
Only one item. I have the inmate meal log provided to your clerk for the month of July 2024. If we could acknowledge that for your minutes, please.
All right, do I have a motion to acknowledge?
Second, the
Got a-
motion to acknowledge.
Got a motion. I made a motion, second Supervisor Banks. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sheriff.
Old business.
Old business, new business. I think somebody had new business.
Scott
Yeah,
got some
Scott
type
does.
of business.
All right, Scott has some
Steve
new
Pittman
business.
got some type of business.
Scott?
Due to my error, I forgot to list one thing on the agenda for planning and zoning. I did turn the documents in, I just didn't provide this document.
Right.
Utah Construction, this was a site plan, on Old Jackson Road. It was approved by the planning and zoning on 7/15/24.
Okay, you need a motion for approval?
Correct.
All right, motion from Supervisor Banks, I'll second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed.
All right, thank you.
Glad to have the new office located here in Madison County. Thank you. Just remember, we have some projects coming up. Need a bid on them. All right, next, I think, Thad, come on up here with your partner, Mr. Steve.
All right, we are ready for the $19 million general obligation bond to start the the large capital plan project. As you know, we were here last in June, to our second meeting, adopted a bond resolution, authorized us to advertise for sale of the bonds. Advertisement went as regarded by statute, and we are now coming back. Our bids were due at 10 o'clock a.m. Mr. Pittman has printed off the bids, and we'll read them to the board.
Mr. Pittman?
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Got 4 bids. First bid is from Carty and Company. They bid a rate of 3.741984.
That's a Social Security number, wasn't it? All right, that's good, though. Glad they bid.
3.741984. The next is from Baird and Company. Their Social Security number is the rate they bid is 3.636325. 3.636325.
Okay.
The next is Mesereau. Their bid is 3.602533. 3.602533. And all of these are underwriters that do business fairly regularly with Mississippi bonds and transactions.
Okay.
The last one is Raymond James. Their bid, Raymond James bid 3.774353. 3.774353. The apparent low bid is Mesereau, which has been verified. They do it electronically, and so it's verified electronically today. So the bid of 3.602533 is the low bid, and that's what I would recommend the board accept.
Second.
Got a motion, Supervisor Banks, second Supervisor Baxter, and this is for how much?
19 million.
19 million. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Next, any other new business?
I got a question for Greg.
Greg?
Where are we on the new limb pickup service? That we talked-
Still working towards it. Ideally, as I've discussed with I think all of y'all at this point, I would like to explore the idea of a limb pickup route so that people know when we are coming to their neighborhood rather than just having to call the road department and making the road department run back and forth to the same neighborhood.
Can we just contract with somebody for a defined amount of time and knock this out? Is this because of the pine beetle situation, or that we're so behind, or?
I believe that there are quite a few causes for this. That there's obviously pine beetle infestation. There's been storms. So, Mother Nature has had a hand in it as well. And there's just some inefficiencies. The way that it's been set up in the past with the road department receiving a phone call, going and picking it up, and then getting another phone call tomorrow from the same subdivision. It just means our guys spend a lot of time going back and forth instead of doing it at regular intervals. So it's something we're exploring. Budget's taken up a little bit of my time recently, but now that we're past that hurdle, that is something we're looking into. Yes, sir.
Did you put money in the budget for limb pickup?
There is enough in the solid waste fund that we can afford to either do it in-house or contract it out, depending on what the rates for the contract are.
I know there's many cities as well, having a lot of limbs and trees picked up, and I agree with Supervisor Baxter and agree with you. We do need a route schedule.
Yeah.
That would help tremendously as well, and I know you're working on that as well. So,
the county got one boom truck they can pick up limb with?
I thought it was two, but is it one or?
One of them
back
probably
there.
in
It's
the
either
shop.
one or two.
Yeah, one of them I'm pretty sure is in the shop.
May well be.
One older than the other one, so the old one probably be in the shop.
We will be looking at getting some new ones if we do the waste or the limb pickup in-house. We'll obviously need a couple more trucks. If it's contracted out, obviously we don't. So that'll all come into the calculations, and I hope to bring that back to y'all soon-ish with a recommendation.
okay, good deal. Thank you, Greg. Do I have a motion to go into closed termination? This is the end of our regular meeting.
I'll make that motion that we go in.
Got a motion, Supervisor Banks, I'll second it. Discussion, we're going in closed termination for,
Safety and security.
okay. The Sheriff Tucker is going to give an update as well. All right, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Have a motion to go into executive session? Motion, Supervisor.
5 minutes break.
We got motion Supervisor, do what now?
Thank you.
We got motion Supervisor Banks, second Supervisor Griffin.
No, that's, we don't have any economic development updates. That's it.
Well, I think Joey's gonna give us an update.
Yeah.
Something else other than safety?
No, that's enough. That'll do it. So, we got a motion by Supervisor Griffin, second Supervisor Banks, go into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right,
5 minute recess.
Joey?
These are the reasons.
Adopted to adopt the new county ACH payment requirements.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn to the 19th for a second meeting? Got a motion, Supervisor Baxter, second Supervisor Banks at 9 a.m. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just a reminder about that, we talked about.
Only dates that they had available.
Trey, he's out here like he got a second job. Trey got a second job too. Hey, Casey.